Hello dear students, welcome back to All Force e-learning classes. This is intermediate first year political science or civics. Today I am going to explain about the sovereignty, a part of the second unit, that is state and sovereignty. Already we know about sovereignty. What is sovereignty? Sovereignty is the one of the essential elements of the state. State has how many elements? 4 elements: population, territory, government and sovereignty. So it is the most important element of a state. It is the most important element of a state. Important element of a state. Then sovereignty distinguishes the state from other associations because only state has the sovereign power. The remaining associations do not have the sovereign power. Then one of the important political philosopher, namely Jean Bodin. Jean Bodin. He is a 16th century political philosopher who was the first political philosopher who proposed the idea of sovereignty. Who? Jean Bodin. He was the first political philosopher who explained the idea of sovereignty for first time in his famous writing, 6 books on Republic. 6 books on Republic. He explained the idea of sovereignty in his famous writing, 6 books on Republic. He explained the sovereignty internally. He explained the sovereignty internally. And one more person, namely Hugo Grotius. Hugo Grotius. He is a 17th century political philosopher. He explained the sovereignty externally. He also developed the concept of sovereignty externally. He explained the sovereignty internally. He explained the sovereignty externally. Then, so what is the meaning of sovereignty? What is the meaning of sovereignty? Already we discussed about sovereignty in the elements of state. The word sovereignty is derived from a Latin word, superaneus, which means supreme power. Supreme power. The word sovereignty is derived from a which word? Latin word. Latin word. What is the Latin word? Superaneus. Superaneus. So which means supreme power. Supreme power. Supreme power. So according to meaning, what is the meaning of sovereignty? Sovereignty is the supreme power of the state. Who has the supreme power? Only the state has the supreme power. So what is meant by sovereignty? Sovereignty is the supreme power of the state. Supreme power of the state. Then different political philosophers have given different definitions to the sovereignty. Now here I am going to give 2 simple definitions to you. Definitions. One is of Willoughby definition. Willoughby. According to him, sovereignty means supreme will of the state. 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 According to him, what is meant by sovereignty? Sovereignty is the supreme will of the state. Supreme will of the state. Then second definition is of Jean Bodin. Jean Bodin. According to him, What is sovereignty? Sovereignty is the supreme power over the citizens and subjects unrestrained by law. It is a definition of Jean Bodin. According to him, sovereignty is the supreme power of the state over citizens and subjects unrestrained by law. So it is a definition of Jean Bodin. Okay, according to these two definitions, we can understand that what is meant by sovereignty: supreme power. Now, sovereignty has two aspects. One is internal aspect, another one is external aspect. So aspects of sovereignty. How many aspects? Two aspects. One is internal aspect or internal sovereignty. Second one is external sovereignty. So what is meant by internal sovereignty? Internal sovereignty means state has the supreme power over all the individuals and associations within the limits of the state. It also implies that supreme power above all the laws. So it is the internal sovereignty. External sovereignty means a state is free from external control. So what is external sovereignty? External sovereignty means what? A state is free from external control. A state is free from external control. In other words, national freedom. According to international customs, no one state can interfere in the internal affairs of the other states. So it reveals that concept too also. Then the most important topic in the second unit is characteristics or features of sovereignty. Characteristics of sovereignty. So it is the most important 10 marks topic in this unit. Elements of state and characteristics of sovereignty. These two are most important 10 marks topics. But what are the important features of or characteristics of sovereignty? One is absoluteness. Number two, universality. 3, permanence. 4, inalienable. 5th one is indivisible. These are the important characteristics features of sovereignty. So what is the first one? Absoluteness. The sovereignty of the state is absolute. And unlimited. It is the unlimited. Sovereignty is the unlimited. Means the sovereignty of the state cannot be limited by anyone. So no one can impose the limitations on the sovereignty of a state. No one can impose the limitations on the sovereignty of a state. Then it is uncontrolled. Sovereignty is uncontrolled. Sovereignty is uncontrolled. No one or state can control the sovereignty of a state. Sovereignty of a state. And one more thing, it is unquestionable. It is unquestionable. No one can question the sovereignty of a state. Example, for India, who is the sovereign? President of India is the sovereign. Anyone question him? No one can question him because he is the sovereign. He is a sovereign. Hence, we cannot question him. We cannot question him. Then one more thing is, there is no other power over and above the sovereignty of a state. There is no other power over and above the sovereignty of a state. But some political philosophers like Maitland and others questioned the absoluteness of sovereignty of the state. Who questioned? Maitland and others questioned the absoluteness sovereignty of the state. According to them, internally and externally, some factors will limit the sovereignty of the state. Internally which factors, externally which factors. So internally, customs and traditions of the people. Customs and traditions of the people will act as a limitations on sovereignty of the state internally. And externally, international laws and obligations. International laws and obligations. International laws and obligations will act as a limitations on the sovereignty of the state. So it is the opinion of Maitland and others on the absoluteness of sovereignty. But these are self-imposed limitations on the sovereignty of the state for protecting the interest of the people of the country. Okay, they are only self-controlled limitations for the protection of interest of the people of the country only. This is the first one. Second, universality. Universality means applicable to all. Universality means applicable to all. So here, sovereignty of the state is applicable to all the individuals and associations within the boundaries of the states. Okay, boundaries of the state. So the sovereignty of the state is equally applicable to all individuals and associations within the limits of the state. That is called as a universality. And one more thing, here state or sovereign cannot make any exceptions and grants exemptions to anybody or any group. It is very clear. The state or the sovereign cannot make any exception and grant any exemptions to anybody because it is applicable to all. Example, if the legislature will prepare a law that is applicable to all the individuals and associations within the boundaries of the state, that is called as a universality. But some critics said that it is not applicable to some people. Yes, the sovereignty of the state is not applicable to some people like foreigners, foreign diplomats. It is not applicable to whom? Foreign diplomats and foreign visitors. So in this case, the state may grant some exemptions to diplomats and visitors, because for promoting peace and security, for promoting friendly relations among the nations. For that purpose, the country or the state will sanction certain exemptions to them. So it is universality. And third one is permanence. Permanence or permanent. The sovereignty of the state is permanent. The sovereignty of the state is permanent. Here we must remember one thing: state and sovereignty. So both cannot be separated. We cannot separate the state from sovereignty. In the same way, we cannot separate the sovereignty from state. Both will go hand in hand. We cannot separate the state from sovereignty. So it is permanent. So how can we understand the sovereignty of the state is permanent? The sovereignty will continue as long as the state continues in existence. The sovereignty will continue as long as the state exists. If the state will disappear, automatically the sovereignty of the state will disappear. It is clear? And one more thing. Here state and governments are there. Now state is permanent because of its sovereignty is permanent, whereas government is there. It is a temporary. It can be changed through elections or movements, but state cannot be changed. It is a permanent because of what permanence or permanent characteristic feature of a state. It is very clear. Then one more thing: if a ruler is there, if he will lose his power, that does not mean the loss of sovereignty of a state. He will lose his power only. It does not mean the loss of the sovereign power of a state. It is very clear. Now rulers will come and go, the kings will come and go, but the kingship is everlast. The kingship is everlast. King will come and go. King is a person, is a ruler. Okay. After him, one more person will come, and so the kingship is everlast. Hence, one proverb is prevailing in England, that is, the king is dead. The king is dead, but long live the kingship. What is the proverb of England? The king is dead. The king is dead, but long live the kingship. Long live the kingship. Kingship means the office of the king. The office of the king. It is very clear. So it is a third one. One more important feature of sovereignty is inalienable. Inalienable. It means cannot be transferable. Cannot be transferable. Cannot be transferable. The sovereignty of the state cannot be transferred to other states or other groups or other organizations. It is very clear. The sovereignty of the state cannot be transferred to other states or other groups or other organizations, because here we cannot separate the, it means we cannot separate the state from sovereignty. We cannot separate the state from sovereignty and from state. It is very clear. Now The reason is the sovereignty of the state is like a soul. Sovereignty of the state is like a soul. So we cannot transfer our soul to others. Okay? In the same way, we cannot transfer the soul, that is sovereignty, from a state to another state. The transfer of sovereignty of the state leads to the destruction of the state. If we transfer our soul, what will happen? The body will lose its existence. In the same way, if the state will transfer its total sovereignty to other states, the state will lose its existence. Hence, the sovereignty will be destroyed. Only the state will destroyed. The state will destroyed. Now here I am going to explain this point through one more example. Here A and B, two states are there. If the state wants to transfer some portion of land to the B, example, some portion of land of A, it wants to transfer this portion of land to the B, then A will lose its sovereignty over this portion of land only. It does not mean the loss of the total sovereignty of a state. It is clear? So it is inalienable. And last one is indivisible. The sovereignty of the state is indivisible. Sovereignty of the state is indivisible. Indivisible means cannot be divisible. Cannot be divisible. Cannot be divisible. The sovereignty of the state is indivisible. Means the sovereignty of the state cannot be divided. The sovereignty of the state cannot be divided. So every state has only one sovereignty. Every state has only one sovereignty. Only one sovereignty. There will be only one sovereignty in a state. There is no scope for two or more states in a state. Okay? Every state has only one sovereignty. There is no scope for two or more sovereignties in a state. Example, if we divide the sovereignty into two or more sovereignties, then what will happen? The same number of new states are formed. New states are formed. But here every state has only one sovereignty. Here some writers also question the indivisible nature of sovereignty. Who? Lawrence Lowell, then Lord Bryce, and others proposed one theory, namely the theory of divided sovereignty. It was proposed by Lawrence Lowell, Lord Bryce, and other political philosophers. What is the theory name? The theory of divided sovereignty. So they said that there is a scope for two sovereignties in a state. In which state? In federal state. Yes. In federal state, there are two types of governments. One is central government. Another one is state government. Okay, one is central government, another one is state government. What is federal state? Federal state is a state in which the total powers are divided between the central government and state government. Now, according to these writers, in federal states there are two governments are there, Hence, there are two sovereignties. One is of central government, another one is of state government. But their concept is not correct, because in every state there is only one sovereignty. There is only one sovereignty. Here, on the behalf of the state, the total sovereignty is exercised by central government. Means only the central government has the sovereign power. State governments do not have the sovereign power. They are subservient to the central government. Clear? So it is the most important topic from sovereignty. Clear? Once again, here which points we discussed in this class? One is the introduction part. In introduction, the sovereignty is one of the important and essential elements of a state. Second, about gene boarding. Third one is Hugo Grotius. Third one is aspects of sovereignty. Fifth one is definitions of sovereignty. Sixth one is characteristics or features of sovereignty. Okay, it is the today's class. Okay, I will meet you in the next class with two important theories, namely Austin's theory and pluralistic theory of sovereignty. On sovereignty, there are two important theories. One is pluralistic theory of sovereignty, another one is monistic theory of sovereignty. Okay, I will see you in the next session. Goodbye.